Pradeep Bhandari, the fact is, like I said, some of those videos, some of the heart-rending messages of the BLOs, you can't unsee and unhear them. And that needs to cut deep where the government is concerned. And that needs to be addressed ASAP. Keep the politics aside. Whatever the opposition might be saying, whatever the government wants to counter, that can be done separately. But one must address this issue. One must debate this issue on the floor of the House. It cannot be TMC trying to instigate BLOs in West Bengal and in Tamil Nadu. It is at the DMK's behest, or in Uttar Pradesh, it is Samajwadi Party.
Well, Preeti, at the outset, my dear friend from the Congress party has forgotten that it's not the Congress government at this moment, it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. When the Congress was in power, this gentleman, a corrupt man like Naveen Chawla, was appointed by Sonia Gandhi, and the government used to appoint the Election Commission. At this moment, there is a 3-member committee which appoints the Chief Election Commissioner, and the Congress party had gone to challenge it in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rejected the petition of the Congress party, saying that under Article 324, the government is very well justified to have a committee. So for the first time in India's independence, you have a committee deciding the Chief Election Commissioner. The Congress party always had a Chief Election Commissioner like a man who used to be a loyalist to Sonia Gandhi. That is fact number one. Fact number two, I completely agree with you that there should be a deeper investigation which has to be ordered, and I'll tell you why. Please look at the gentleman who was protesting today as a BLO. This gentleman was till yesterday with Abhishek Banerjee in his local party meeting, and today he claimed to be a BLO who was protesting against Shovendu Adhikari. So definitely I believe these are not representatives of BLOs, and there has to be a larger inquiry ordered that who are these gentlemen, who is pressurizing them. That is point number two. Now please look at the seriousness and the difference between the intention. This is Mrs. Renuka Choudhry, who takes her dog to the parliament and calls the parliamentarians as dog. And she believes that this is the issue which has to be discussed, and this is the most important issue when quote unquote the SIR is a issue which the opposition wants us to discuss. So this is the seriousness of the India's opposition, which is reflected by Renuka Choudhry, on which Ashutosh, who might be a very well-established man, and there are very rich people in opposition like Rahul Gandhi who believe that 2.5 lakh rupees of taxpayers' money per minute does not matter. This is what their mindset is. Our intention is reflected from how there was 100% productivity in the parliament session in April 2025 because the opposition did not disrupt the parliament. I'll give you another instance. You recall this video of Rahul Gandhi? For 6 months, for months, they used to say that why is there no discussion happening on Manipur? When the Prime Minister started to speak on Manipur, it was Rahul Gandhi instructing his member of parliaments to stop the Prime Minister and go to the well. This is the intention of the Congress party. So the intention of the Congress party is neither to let the House function, neither to have a discussion on SIR, and they are even not serious on BLO. And I'll tell you
Pradeep ji, the time is up. I'll circle back to you. We might have just one more minute for all of our panelists. But Pradeep ji, you bring up the case of one BLO which needs to be investigated. There are 10 other pictures that, like I said, should cut in deep. The heart-rending messages, including of this man who says, take care of my daughter before he killed himself. And I think, that needs to be addressed, Pradeep ji. That can't be washed under the ambit of larger investigations. Who is pressurizing them? Political pressure. That needs to be addressed.
Absolutely, an investigation has to be ordered.
I want to bring in Salman Soz into this conversation. Salman Soz, while the Treasury benches, the government is responsible for the functioning of the parliament, so is the opposition, Salman Soz. And if the opposition is serious about addressing the issues of the plight of BLOs today, then play by the rules, have that discussion.
I think the rule is that when you have such a horrible situation in the country, where so many of our workers are dying, these are election workers are dying, I think this should be prioritized. And what the Prime Minister and the BJP want to do is they'll basically cast aspersions on anyone who raises the issue or the plight of these workers and the craziness of the SIR process that the Election Commission has instituted. And by the way, if I was a BJP spokesperson, I would not bring up Manipur. Manipur is one state you should not bring up. That is a state where women and children have been raped, where women have been paraded naked. You should be ashamed that the Prime Minister did not visit Manipur at all, would not say anything about it at all. So I would not, if I was a BJP spokesperson, I would keep quiet. I would shut up about Manipur. Okay? As far as this parliament is concerned, now, let us talk about parliament. In this session, It's going to be 15 days, the shortest session in history. And there are going to be 13 bills have been scheduled. 13 bills, 15 days, and 10 of these bills have not even gone to their respective standing committee. You want us to be serious? You should be serious. The BJP should be serious about 800 million people in India surviving on free government food. That is the situation of this country. That the International Monetary Fund is telling you that the data that you're putting out for our economy, that gets a C grade. You should be careful about what you want. We want answers for the people of this country. We want answers for the BLOs who have died by suicide. That is the seriousness we want you to see. We don't want you to talk about Manipur anymore because you shut up about Manipur for 2 years, did nothing. The Prime Minister was silent.
The time is up. I want to bring in both Ashutosh and Rajat Sethi into this conversation as political analysts devoid of ideology. Rajat, let's begin with you. Okay, what should the opposition and including the government do that we see some work in this session, at least we see some fruitful debates? Either sides need to bridge this deficit, which is where trust is concerned, rock bottom.
I think they should not walk into the trap that the BJP would be laying over and over again. You know, what does BJP would want? Ideally, the opposition creating a ruckus, not allowing them to table an issue, and then the BJP can also walk out saying that, see, we gave them a chance, they never wanted a chance to discuss serious issues. Why do you want to fall into that trap each time? See, if you want to raise SIR, be serious about it. There are rules which are laid out. You can have back-channel conversations, back-channel negotiations. That's how the parliaments used to work. Those are personal relations that you invoke. And again, the subject of the main subject is the Election Commission, which is not represented on the floor of the House. So how do you ask those questions? There has to be a meaningful way of engaging that. You cannot say that SIR is illegal because it's a patently constitutional exercise. So you need to support it also, find ways in order to be a creative part of the political class. They won't do that. The problem is that if you want to discuss economy, bring out issues. AI is the conversation around the world. Technology and technology dominance has completely shaken up the contours, including security contours. But as a responsible opposition, you will find all of these issues too boring because this won't garner votes for you. But let me tell you, contrary to how you think that the Indian public falls for, these are the genuine issues public is worried about and concerned about. But as a responsible opposition, have you ever chosen to raise these issues? Has your leader ever spoken on these issues in proper depth that is needed to handle it? And even corner the government for that sake. See, the problem is you want to only look for theater. You want to only look for acting roles, and then it results in a drama. And this is what the Prime Minister has said. And he deliberately put in that line because he knew that the Congress will fall into that trap and will create similar ruckus and will allow the government another 15 days or so throughout the parliament session. This is my reading of the situation.
All right, which is basically every fault lies with the opposition, none with the government. And the opposition now needs to, play is what Rajat Sethi says. But I want to bring in Ashutosh into this conversation. Ashutosh, gone are the days. Rajat seems to suggest the goodwill back-channel talks where SIR is concerned. I think it's been a year or two. That doesn't happen anymore where the parliament comes into question. There is no goodwill anymore.
See, Preeti, mark my word. The government doesn't want an opposition. It's not a joke. It wasn't a joke when it was said, Congress Mukt Bharat, ya Vipaksh Mukt Bharat. So that agenda is on to discredit opposition at every given point of time. Discredit them so much, with so much government machinery and resources that tomorrow the people will start believing the opposition because they don't want an opposition. There is no secrecy about it. Now, the two things which really baffles me. One, the BJP's over vehement support to Election Commission despite BLOs committing suicide. Secondly, Election Commission's sheer rigidity that this exercise has to be done in a month's time or so. Now, are these two things linked to each other? I just don't know. If anybody and everybody wants a clean voter list, if that is the idea, that is the aim, that is the goal, then why insist on 30 days? Why not 3 months? Why not 4 months? Especially in a states where the elections are almost 1.5 years away. Why so much insistence on just 1 month? 30 days or 40 days. Just spread out for 3 months. The BLOs will have more relaxed time. They will do a better job. There will be better screening. There will be better scrutiny. But no, it has to be done in a month's time. Whether the people are committing suicide or not suicide, that is immaterial. How cruel a system can be. Just imagine about the family of this man, Sarvesh. Just imagine about it. This could have, and since he belongs to the lowest rung of the bureaucracy, so nobody is bothered. Now, left, right, and center, the FIR are lodged against them. How many DMs have been sacked? How many DMs have lost their job? None. Because they are powerful people.
Fair point, because these are the BLOs are the foot soldiers where the Election Commission is concerned and most taxed. I want to quickly give in one minute, I believe, and let's go with that. First up, Pradeep Bhandari, 1 minute to put your point forward. Please go.
Well, the Congress party speaking about Northeast is like Gabbar speaking about acting as Jay in a Sholay, because it was Congress which had bombed Mizoram. Point number one. Point number two, the fact here is that Mr. Ashutosh can go to the Supreme Court like Yogendra Yadav has. What is stopping him to go to the Supreme Court? Because this domain, 3 to 4, it is in the purview of the Election Commission and the Supreme Court. Maybe Ashutosh has not read the Constitution of India very well. That is point number two. Point number three, and which is a very, very important point. Please go to the, he was speaking about Congress Mukt Bharat. We do not want to do Congress Mukt Bharat on our own. It's Congress which is doing it. Bihar, the Congress people are fighting against Congress. Jammu and Kashmir, there is nobody to pick up Congress flag. And in Karnataka, it's the Congress CM and Deputy CM which are fighting. You did a 6 o'clock show on it. So Ashutosh called the Congress which is doing Congress Mukt Bharat. The real intention is here. When the Election Commission increased the honorarium of the BLO, you know who did not implement it? It was only one government which did not implement it, and the government is the Trinamool Congress. So here the culprit is the Indian opposition, which wants the BLOs to be pressurized, which do not want a free and fair process.
Pradeep, I just want to put a small show plug. You said we have been doing Karnataka Congress versus Congress, but look at the ticker band right now. It is Mahayuti versus Mahayuti where Maharashtra is concerned. Stay tuned at 7:30 to watch that show. 1 minute, Salman Sauce.
That is your
I'm just telling you. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Okay. 1 minute, Salman Sauce. Time starts now, sir. Go ahead.
I want you to think back to what Rajat Sethi said about how the Prime Minister set a trap and the opposition fell into it. If you think that is the case, it really tells me that the Prime Minister is a very non-serious person. That he does not seem to understand that there is a real crisis in this country of jobs, of people not being able to afford food, of real starvation concerns if a government handout is not provided to people. I thought we were in the business of creating opportunities for the people of India so that they could fend for themselves. But what the Prime Minister and the BJP have been doing is actually trying to create a situation whereby the people would be dependent on a welfare state, and they would benefit. The BJP would then benefit from that kind of a system, because it would be where they can just dole out money. I think that the Prime Minister, if he thinks that's going to sustain,
sir,
I
time
think
up.
he's wrong.
It'll be a hard cut, sir. 1 minute, Rajat Sethi, make your point, please. Rajat Sethi, your turn, sir. 1 minute. Can you hear me? All right,
yes.
okay, we don't.
Can you
okay,
hear me?
He's there with us. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that Prime Minister is far too serious a politician beyond the comprehension of the Congress party and the entire opposition put together. So for you guys to understand him, you'll have to do a PhD and go to the public, ask, solicit their support, and still you will find it very hard to understand him. If you want to debate on genuine economic issues, read up the data, read up IMF reports. This report that you're quoting as a C grade given to data, there's just one clause that has been picked up and a narrative has been built. What is a fact is that the country is growing at the fastest possible rate, 8.2% around the world. The kind of global headwinds that are there working against India right now are unprecedented. And in spite of that, that shows the resilience of this country. If it can grow at 8.2% when such turbulence is there, that gives us confidence. It might not give Congress party the confidence, but it gives the normal citizen of this country far too much confidence that there is future in this country. And if we work hard, we can achieve the impossible. But the problem with
Rajat
Congress
Sethi,
party
hard
is
cut, sir. Time up. 1 minute, Ashutosh. Make your point, sir.
I wish what Rajat Sethi is saying should have been true. Economy is growing at the rate of 8.02, but IMF doesn't believe it. It's the same IMF which talked about the fragile five, and the BJP took to the whole world and ridiculed the Congress development, the Manmohan Singh government's development. Now the same IMF is talking about that India's data is suspect, and that's why it has been put into the category of C. C category, imagine. We are not discussing this. The American-Chinese Economic Security Review openly saying that the Pakistani army has succeeded over Indian army, and it's not a terrorist attack. It's an insurrection kind of a thing. Government of India has kept his mouth shut, not a word. That's the confidence which our Prime Minister shows in our government. What about the rest? Why we are not speaking? Why we are not telling IMF to shut up? Why we are not telling the American administration to shut up?